Advanced medical directive, which is sometimes called a living will, that's a document that is far more narrow than a power of attorney. Power of attorney deals with financial affairs and a broad range of medical affairs where you can't talk for yourself. Advanced medical directive is an end-of-life document. It only has effect when your attending physician certifies that you are either permanently unconscious or in an end-stage medical condition, and in either case you have no reasonable hope of recovery. So that advanced medical directive tells a hospital, it says to the hospital and the attending physician, I'm in a medical condition where I am in the process of dying, and further care would only want, and I don't want these forms of care when I am near the end of my life, when I am along the process of dying. So it is, in Pennsylvania, it's very narrow, and it provides instructions to the physician under those circumstances. All right, at this point, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Leslie Mahalik, who will pick up for us and begin her talk on gifting issues.
Like Dennis said, my name is Leslie Mahalik. I am an attorney with Dennis, and I work largely in the areas of estate planning and special needs planning. Now, since our seminar tonight is really focused on estates that are over the $2 million range, I'm going to start talking about some of the additional techniques you can use that are a little bit more sophisticated. And these are also techniques focused on estates that are over the $2 million range. I'm going to start talking about some of the additional techniques you can actually use during your life. Dennis just showed you a bunch of the trusts that you can fund with your will or with life insurance, but there are also a bunch of other things that you can do during your life to actually lower your estate for federal estate tax purposes. The first one is gifting. In general, you are allowed to give $1 million gift tax-free over the span of your life. All right? On top of that, you are also allowed to give $12,000 each year per donee. So what that means is that I can give as many people as I want $12,000 each year and not have it be subject to gift tax. It's really a huge advantage for wanting to lower your federal estate tax, for lowering your gross estate for federal estate tax, because you can really give away a lot of assets that way. The rule is that you can give the $12,000 per donee per year, but if you're a married couple, you can give away $24,000. As I said, there's no limit as to the number of donees, and also this right is non-cumulative, so if you don't use it each year, you're going to lose it. The gifts, in order to qualify for the annual exclusion, do have to be of a present interest, which means that the donee has to be able to use and possess that property right away. So outright gifts would definitely qualify. And we do have an example here. So we have Mr. and Mrs. X have 3 grown children, all of whom are married, and 8 grandchildren. Each year, Mr. and Mrs. X can make an annual gifts of $12,000 to each of these 14 people, who are the 8 grandchildren, the 3 children, and their spouses. As a result, they can reduce their taxable estate by $336,000 each year without incurring gift tax.
Didn't you just say that as part of this, there had to be an immediate need or use of the money? How are these 8 grandchildren using $12,000 in a given year?
You can actually transfer the money to the grandchildren via a various number of different trusts, such as like an UGMA account, or, I mean, it can be in a custodial account as long as that money is designated for the grandchildren. And we're actually going to talk about a couple different, there's a whole lot of ways to do it, but we're going to discuss 1 or 2 of them now. So again, this is just a really great technique because it has the benefit of both lowering your estate, but also allowing you to provide for important people in your lives, like your children or your grandchildren. You can also use it to shift money down to, a younger generation that's possibly going to have a lower tax rate. And additionally, you can also use it to gift property that may appreciate, and that way the appreciation will grow when it's out of your estate. One way, like you said, to use your annual exclusion is to actually donate each year to a qualified tuition program, which are commonly called 529 plans. Again, in general, the 529 plans really vary from state to state. They each kind of have their own set of rules, so I don't want to get too specific here. But what they are is a mechanism where you can donate each year. You can donate into them by using your annual gifting exclusion, and that money in there can grow tax deferred. It has some tax savings, and when the child can eventually use it for higher education costs. So the law actually allows you to make your annual contributions to these plans and have it be viewed as a completed gift that is a present interest gift, which means it qualifies for the exclusion. And they allow that to happen even though the child's not going to access that money for education for some time. An additional option with 529 plans is that they actually allow you to front load them by exceeding your annual limit of $12,000 by electing to make 5 years of contributions in 1 year. So since the current annual exclusion is $12,000, they can actually allow you to elect to make 5 years of that, which would be $60,000 all at one time, or $120,000 for a married couple. So it's really a great option. If you do that, you can't then make more contributions for those 5 years, but it will allow you to make a one-time large gift, which again is just a great way to get large amounts out of your estate quickly, easily, in a very affordable way, and it's a way that is, very well accepted by the IRS. What this exclusion is that you have an unlimited gift tax exclusion for amounts that are paid on behalf of a donee for either educational costs or health care and medical services. The catch with these is that the payments must be made directly to the provider. So you actually have to send the check to the college or to the health care. Another example here is the unlimited educational medical expense exclusion provider. You can't give your son a check to cash himself at the bursar's office. With the educational organizations, the payments are only for tuition. They can't be for room and board or for books or other things like that. It actually has to be for tuition. But in general, no family relationship is required. So if you wanted to, donate to somebody else, you could. And it's, again, just a really great and easy technique. So next we're going to go on to a different technique called the Qualified Personal Residence Trust, or the QPERT as we like to call it. What this is a way to try to get the value of your home out of your estate. Some people, especially in this area, have homes that are very, very expensive and would clearly put them well over the federal estate tax limit. So this is a good option for them. This is sanctioned by the IRS. And they even have some forms that you can use on their website, so it's clearly accepted. Now, the process for this trust is basically that the grantor, the owner of the house, transfers his or her house into a trust. The trust then becomes the owner of the house. The grantor, say it's me, retains the right to live in that house for a specified term of years. At the end of the term, the beneficiary of the trust, who's generally a child, owns the house. They would get the house either outright or in trust, but the child would at that point be the owner of the house. Now, when you make this transfer into the trust, you are going to have a taxable gift. It's going to be a gift of what we call a future interest. It's not a present interest gift because your child doesn't have the right to live in the house today. They only have the right to live in it at the end of the term of years. So you would use part of your unified credit to pay for that gift tax. But again, you can have up to the $1 million, and you're only going to get gift tax implications on the actual amount that's going to the child, and it's a reduced rate because the child's not getting the full value of the house, but they're only getting the right to live in the house after X number of years. It's a little complicated, but in general, you're going to have gift tax, but it will be less than the value of your house. The way you figure out what the gift tax is based on the length of the term that you're going to keep living in the house, and then you use some IRS published charts called the discount rate to figure it out.